Hello. For this assignment, I interviewed Luke Carter, who is the announcer for Westmoreland, Tennessee basketball. Um, Westmoreland's where I live, and so I get the enjoyment of watching Luke anytime there's a game and I want to go there. My husband also coaches one of the teams, so we're there quite a bit, me and my kids. Luke is like this young guy. I think he might not even be in his 20s yet, but he's a young guy and he is so full of life and enthusiasm and he's so positive and he's just fun. He's so much like I would literally go to the games to just watch him, and sometimes I have. But uh, I wanted to interview him because as soon as I saw this assignment, I was like, I've got to talk to Luke, which we talk a lot, considering, I always tell him how great he does and the whole thing. So I was like, I've got to ask him these questions. Date interviewed was today, 3/25/26. I've had a lot going on with father in the hospital, so that's why this is happening now. I have my notes here. I'm just going to leave them so that I can um, I'll state the question and then I'll tell you what his answer was. I'm going to start with this. There was a question, what the most helpful advice was. That was one of the last requirements. This doesn't really suit that. I'll follow back with that, but this is the most interesting um, piece of information that I got from Luke. Now, I did find this out before the interview. Luke goes outside and he yells and warms up his vocals for the basketball games. We heard this one time and we were like, what is happening? It was Luke. It was before we, kind of realized what Luke did. But he warms up his vocals and he tries to get energized, which he's already kind of a really energized person. He always wears like a Hawaiian-ish button-up shirt. Sometimes they have Hawaiian designs. Sometimes it's like smiley faces. Sometimes it's like funky words. But he's just a funky, cool guy. If you get the chance to ever watch him online, you should try to find some videos. I need to post some that I have of him, actually. Okay, so the first question was, what are strategies to deal with nervousness? He said, don't try to remember everything perfectly. It's okay if you stumble. It's okay if it doesn't go as perfectly as you planned. He said one of the things that kind of threw him off, because he does other stuff, like he's done speeches for like graduation and a few other things. I'm not sure if he got paid for those, but there are certain times that he has to announce like homecoming and senior night and some things that he kind of has to have like a script for. And he was like, don't try to do it perfectly, and also don't rehearse it in your head rapid speed. And that was his quote, rapid speed right before. Don't just try to remember everything like in your head as quickly as possible, because then it kind of gets jumbled up and then it makes you more nervous. But he said, prepare, don't wait until the last minute to get your speech together. Give yourself enough time so that you're not, it'll flow better if you prepare further in advance. Second question, suggested tips for performance anxiety. He says, don't adapt like a different personality or cadence to try and impress. He says, just be yourself, speak in your natural cadence, and you'll be in your most comfortable state. If you're not comfortable, then you're not obviously going to perform well. If you're not yourself, it's probably going to read. If people are, like intuitive, these are my words. I feel like it's not going to read well if you're, I'm going way over time. Oh no, okay. The third one was advice for beginning speakers. Don't get flustered if you trip over your words, if you stumble. The more attention that you draw to it, the more stuck the audience is going to be on it. If you mess up, you laugh it off. You know, if you're in like a comfortable type setting like that, people are more likely to notice the more dramatically that you react. So, and you know, that's probably the most helpful advice to answer that question. That's probably the most helpful for me because I'm a bag of nerves. And if I stumble, then I'm gonna, you know, do something embarrassing, something cringy later. I'm going to do something cringy and look back later and be like, oh my goodness, why did I do that? Just let it roll. You know, if you meant to say a word and then you end up saying a different word, just, you know, keep going. The audience will figure it out. And if they don't, that's another problem, but it's going to be okay. I love talking to Luke. He was so much fun. I wish he could have been part of this video actually, but we were supposed to only record our findings. But yeah, I think that answers the questions. Oh, hold on,